this is not an area of the law that I'm an expert on. But here's what I do know. And there was a federal court, a 72-page federal court ruling by a judge in Mississippi, Carlton Reeves, that walked through the problems of qualified immunity, that talked about how qualified immunity, whether intentionally or not, has become a shield where someone can shoot first and ask questions later, and there are no consequences. And two Supreme Court justices who don't agree on a lot of things, Sonia Sotomayor and Clarence Thomas, have pretty much said the same thing. And for too long, in Black and brown communities, and particularly low-income Black and brown communities, the tendency of police officers to shoot first and ask questions later, or pull a gun and ask questions later, has led to a loss of faith in police to keep those communities safe, where people are afraid to call the police because it could lead to a loved one being killed, even when police are called to help that loved one. And for too long, there's stories after story after story after story where a mindset of, I have to come home at any costs among some police officers has led to death where it didn't need to happen. Even something as simple, and I never told this story until a few weeks ago because I kind of blocked it out. When in the Fan in Richmond, when my father came to my house to water plants, and because my neighbor's mother had never seen him before and called the police, and my father figured out police were there when he felt a gun to his back and was told, put your hands up and turn around. And there was something going on that caused the police officer to think that seeing the back of a 70-something-year-old man in a yard was cause for him to pull a gun out. And my father is my complexion, or was my complexion. And I remember having a conversation with my brother-in-law, who was much darker, who said, if that had been me, I could be dead. And so I want to reiterate something that Delegate Bourne said, that we have had these conversations in the Black community for decades. And qualified immunity has become a shield where we're afraid. Because if something happens, there is no recourse. And we've got to do something about that. And we take the time to deal with things that are complicated all the time. And yes, I voted, as did Senator Morrissey, to table his bill, because I had hoped we would have more time to figure this out by the time the House bill came. And I know how this vote's going to go. But we got to figure this out. We got to figure this out, because if we don't, there are young people, yes, they're the ones marching in the street, who are angry, who are frightened, who have totally lost faith in our ability to solve this problem. They've lost hope. And if they lose hope, we're all lost. So if we're not going to fix this today, I certainly hope we don't just leave it to the Boyd Graves Conference to do it, that we figure out how can we create a cause of action in Virginia. If this isn't the way to do it, if just saying no quality, if this isn't the bill to do it, just create a cause of action, which whatever standard you want, that says if you shoot first and ask questions later, there's going to be accountability, because right now there's none.
Mr. President.
And for that reason, I'm voting no on the motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. President.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
Mr. Chair.
here, who is